Actually, speaking of entertainment, do you like magic? Well, then there is a show just for you, and it's going into its actual second season.
Yeah, and I got to actually speak with the magician himself about the Carbonaro Effect, so take a look. Well, after successfully convincing the public to believe the unbelievable, magician Michael Carbonaro is back with unexpected tricks that will astound and amuse audiences in a second season of truTV's breakout hit series, The Carbonaro Effect. And joining us this morning is the extraordinarily talented Michael Carbonaro himself. Michael, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Hi, Heather. It's great to be here.
Okay, so for anybody...
How are you?
I'm great. I absolutely love your show. But any of our viewers that haven't actually tuned into the Carbonaro Effect yet, will you give us a little bit of the background of the premise of the show?
Sure, yeah. The Carbonaro Effect, it's a hidden camera magic show. So the idea was, you know, I'm a magician, but what would happen if I were to go out into public, into different scenarios, playing different characters, and the public didn't know I was a magician? So could we cause something to happen where I didn't take responsibility for it? Would people believe in unbelievable things? And, you know, would they believe that, you know, something like a gigantic bowling ball can be shipped inside of a flat box? Or would they believe that there's a new toy that can actually turn a frog to life using a special light and a secret scientific goo? And just experiment and see what people will believe, and they do.
I love it. So you're using this kind of unique brand of enticing magic, but on everyday, unsuspecting people. So I want to know, how do you come up with all of these amazing scenarios?
Well, you know, it's like little pieces from life. You know, there's things like, I see things all the time that I don't know how they work, like, you know, Bluetooth technology or a cell phone. I mean, that's magical. How does that work? So I thought, like, maybe I could use some techniques of a magician to make people believe that there's some new scientific principles they didn't know about, which will, you know, allow you to be able to do some of those things. So, for example, there's one bit in the new season coming up where I convince somebody that I have robotic eyeballs. And I take, as an eye doctor, I remove one of my eyes, and it's really like this little robotic technological eye, and the person totally believes it, and I'm trying to ask her if she'd like to have her eyeballs replaced with robotic eyes, and she's freaking out, and she's believing that it's a real thing. And that's just something that maybe they would have. You know, you see people with their phone, with their iWatch, and their Apple phone, and all that stuff. So it's like, what's the next step, and let's make it happen now with magic tricks.
And Michael, you really just touched on one of my favorite parts of your show, which is, obviously this is a great show for magic fans anywhere, but this show really has kind of that extra appeal to those maybe reality fans and things, because it's a comedy. I mean, just the reactions alone of these poor unsuspecting people had me in stitches. So, I mean, would you say that this show is kind of for everybody?
It really is. I get a lot of people who write, and they're like, you know, finally a show that I could watch with my 16-year-old daughter, my 7-year-old son, my mother, and my wife. You know, like, it really is for everybody. It's fun, loving family show. It's good. It's really about having fun with people and making them believe in unbelievable things. It's never pointing a finger and saying, like, haha, we got you, or we fooled you. It's more like, you know, when I tell them that it's a show, they were like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Like, that looked totally real. Like, so it's great. And the home viewer, I think why people love it is that they're in on it. They don't know how the tricks work, but they know that the person's about to be fooled. So they get this double kind of, you know, way of watching where they know that I'm a magician. They don't know how the trick works, but they also get to fool the person with me, you know? So that's what's really fun about watching it.
Well, I have to tell you, when the mom and the kid went into the shop with the bike helmet and it tipped it over and the mouse fell out, I think I fell off of the couch. So it's absolutely a show for everybody, all ages, which I love. Now tell us, Michael, how did you get interested in magic, and how long have you been doing it?
Oh man, I've been doing magic my entire life. I was all over the place. You know, as a kid, I wanted to be a special effects artist. I loved monsters and movies and makeup and Halloween. And I started buying makeup supplies at a magic store, and I got into magic. And, you know, magic is kind of like special effects live. So I also, you know, started performing plays, and I loved acting, and I loved performing, and I loved hosting. So I was like, what am I going to do? You know, what am I going to be, a magician, a host, an actor, or what? And this, you know, finding the Carbonaro Effect was like finding a way to do all of those things at once. You know, I have to be an actor and pretend, play that I'm a normal person out in ordinary life. I have to, and I'm funny because I know that the home viewer is watching with me and we're about to pull a trick. And I like to make things silly and crazy and wild. And I'm doing magic and special effects, and I build a lot of the props myself. Some of the stuff I really want to look like really real so that that someone will believe in it. And it's just it's been like a funnel for all of the things that I love to do.
Well, I have to tell you, you've made a huge fan of me over here in Tucson, so I am absolutely looking forward to season 2, as I know a lot of our viewers are. And Michael, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Heather. Enjoy the new season.
And you can catch the Carbonaro Effect Wednesdays on truTV. Now don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more after a short break.